So, Devil's Third has finally made it to the United States, sort of,
What is Devil's Third?
in a way. Devil's Third is a game that was made by Itagaki, first name Tomonobu. Am I right? Come on. Yeah, Tomonobu Itagaki, who is responsible for, famous for the Dead or Alive series, and he also did the reboot of Ninja Gaiden before he left Tecmo Koei. This is his first game since leaving. It's based it's basically a story about how artificial satellites break apart and they take down other satellites, and it plunges the world into war.
Is it a third-person hack-and-slash shooter?
It's a third-person action game with first-person shooting segments when you zoom in. By all accounts, it's miserable. It got miserable reviews when it came out in Japan, it got miserable reviews when it came out in Europe, and it's gotten miserable reviews here. Itagaki has gone on in typical what I would expect from Itagaki fashion to say a couple of interesting things about how his game is actually elevating the art form of games, and about how the bad reviews directly reflect the poor skills of the reviewers playing his game.
That's not. Oh, it's not good. We said this last time. Don't attack the reviewers.
Don't attack the reviewers. Don't do it. What's more interesting than Devil's Third is the fact that very, very, very few physical copies were released in the United States. A lot of tales of people pre-ordering it, not getting it. How the amount of non-pre-order copies that were sent out were basically none. People looking to find a copy, who just want to try it out for shits and giggles, and they find like one in a 150-mile radius when they do a GameStop search.
Are they the only retailer carrying this? You can't go to a Target or Best Buy and get this?
You probably could have. I probably could have tried to import. We probably could have tried to get it in. It's not a GameStop exclusive.
Let me see Walmart. What they have.
It wasn't a GameStop exclusive. I never said that anywhere. But this was Nintendo published, and
so they're probably contractually obligated to release it in the U.S. even after the poor reception in Japan.
Yeah, and I think they maybe just didn't particularly. I don't know. I mean, maybe they just didn't want. Maybe they were just hoping it would fly under the radar. Then again, maybe they didn't want it to be associated with the Nintendo brand. But what's interesting is that we have gotten to this point in collecting and in video games, and it's gross, and in speculating, where people immediately realized that this was going to be very hard to find. And even though that this is supposedly a crap game that absolutely no one should ever want to play, with bad frame rates, stiff controls, these are among the very common problems. Outdated gameplay. I watched a video of a guy wandering around for a minute trying to find like a checkpoint like that was on the screen, and he just kept running into walls because it was like this stupid maze, like stupid outdated gameplay from like the fucking mid-90s, just to like elongate the game. Like, it's not straightforward, it's not intuitive, like you're constantly running around and running into dead ends and shit like that, even though the checkpoint keeps telling you go here, whatever. So people realize that this is hard to find, and they want to pick it up despite the fact that it's crap. And
so was it only 420 copies released to GameStops in the U.S.? Do you believe that? That low?
I actually find that hard to believe, but I mean, maybe.
That's the report.
I find it hard to believe that they would do a print run that was that. I mean, why would you do that?
Why would you do one that low? I mean, when you're printing these out, it wouldn't be worth their time to even do it at all. No. Unless again, like you said, it was contractually obligated. Maybe they print out a few thousand. 420 go to GameStop. They do something else with the other ones.
It could be 420 game. The other thing that it could be is maybe that's 420 copies additional to pre-orders. So okay, well, these are your pre-orders. Your pre-orders are fulfilled. Now you've got 420 to spread around. And that's probably not counting where it could have gone elsewhere. So people went out and got this because they want it to be worth money. Yeah,
I'll just say this. I searched for this 1 or 2 days ago on GameStop. There was copies available within a 100-mile radius at 3 or 4 different... GameStop's like 60 miles away. I could have gotten a few days ago. They were there. No longer available today. So obviously people will find out more about this, and they bought the last copies up to speculate. Not because it's a great game, because it's gotten awful reviews, to speculate and flip on eBay and on Amazon.
So oddly, but so that's why people are grabbing this, and it's kind of, I don't know.
It's gross.
It's just weird and it's gross.
Yeah.
I think I saw copies just 3 days ago or so in the $300 range. People were trying to get for it.
Were they selling it that much though?
I don't know. And then you told me that you saw it about $180 earlier, and then I actually checked it earlier. Now I can pick up a copy if I wanted to for $123, and it seems to be backfiring, and I hope it does. My thinking is though that this is going to become something that is probably worth something at some point, simply because it is a video game in low demand.
I can buy it. Is this the Japanese version? I can buy it for $80 with free shipping on Amazon right now. It says ships from Japan, though. Does that mean it's a Japanese version?
That means it's probably the Japanese version.
Okay.
But
I can get it for $120, the U.S. version.
Yeah, which honestly does not match up to its supposed rarity. Something like Xenoblade Chronicles, when it first came out, had a much larger release and was going for 100 to 120 within no time.
5, 6,
so
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 16 on Amazon right now. The low says 120. The highs. If there's here's the deadly game they're playing with each other. How could someone say charge 200 for it when everyone else is trying to move this as quickly as they can?
Yeah.
So there's people at 130, 120. It's going to keep going down.
Yeah.
Especially this isn't like getting the Wii U when it came out, or the Wii. Like there's not going to be a heavy demand for this. Sorry, only collectors are going for this. This is something you want to own to play. It's different.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's strange. You know, it's a modern day example of a. When you look at the NES library, or say the PC Engine library, or any library, a lot of the rare games are rare because they were shit, and they didn't get a large release.
$100 only on eBay, by the way, so it's dropping.
Yeah, so it didn't get a lot. So they get, they're shit games. They're rare because they're shit. They don't get a large print run, and they become worth more later because they're simply rare to completionist collectors.
There's 95 on eBay right now, by the way.
Yeah, 95 on eBay. So this is backfiring for everyone who thought that this was going to make them a ton of money.
They are moving at open auctions, $71, $93, $73, $80.
$10 more than launch price.
Some buy it nows, $120, $99, $103 in Canada, $110, $90. But I think people are quickly realizing probably the ones that sold on the first day, and then again, some are only 60. Best Buy has it. Best Buy sold it for 60 on Best Buy direct from Best Buy. So Best Buy got these because you could have bought it at Best Buy off of eBay's Best Buy store.
So this is a modern day example of that sort of thing happening. Shitty game gets a nothing release, and people are trying to make it worth something. You cannot force something to be worth money just because there's not many of them. Even
of scarcity. So we'll say this though: what if this is coveted? I don't know, 10, 20 years from now, if you see a Wii U completionist collector go for it, will then rise up back in value then?
Yes, and that's what I was going to say. I do think at some point in the future it could be, but I don't think that means anyone should go out now and get it because you never know.
You also don't know if they're going to just say, we're going to produce 1,000 more.
Yeah, there are plenty of games that are, and anyone who collects games to a degree can attest to this. There are a lot of games that are pretty scarce, pretty rare, that are also not very good, that no one cares about, that you can still get for cheap. And Devil's Third could be that. Mm-hmm. Because if it doesn't really offer anything interesting, and it's really just a shit game, and there's no interesting, aspects to it or weird story behind it, it's just a shitty game that didn't get a large release.
So you're going to look at people that are speculating now for hopefully hold out for it to go up in value in 10, 20 years, and maybe in 10, 20 years it's worth $300, $400, something like that.
Right.
For that hardcore Wii U collector.
And that's a silly investment for a turn of $200.
For a $200, $300 turn that's going to happen within 10 years. Yeah, it's a horrible investment.
Yeah.
Just to remind you guys that talk about economics. That's terrible.
If you want to buy and play a shitty game, do so. Believe me, I've had fun doing it before too. But you're not gonna make this is not exactly a money making opportunity.
And again, Nintendo could turn around and produce 5,000 more of these in a second, and all of a sudden all I'm saying is
they won't.
They won't, but I'm just saying they could.
Sure,
they can do it a year from now or years from now, whatever. And this could be one of those things where, people are sitting on these, move them quick, because you don't know what's going to happen, or else if you want to make $500 off of it 20 years from now, have at it. I don't know. I have no interest in something like that.